Welcome back, you guys, to Kicking It Real. I am here with Michaela, also a fellow WMU alum, former Broncos cheerleader, and I'm so excited to catch up. Michaela, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Yay, thank you. I'm so excited.
You've done like so many cool things, and it's like cool. When I started this podcast, I thought about people I wanted to have on, and you actually have been like at the top. Before I even had the podcast, I was like, we should like collaborate on something just because I feel like our journeys post grad are like so similar and like the avenues we had to take. But we'll obviously get into all of that. You've done like all of the coolest things, but we met back in the Michigan days, and you're back in Michigan now. How did you like decide to go to school for dance, and like why did you pick Western? Like what was that process like for you?
Yeah, so pretty similar to I feel like anyone else that ends up going to dance in college. I grew up a dancer both in studio and throughout high school, middle school, like pom and cheer teams. And really, I had always wanted to have like my own studio or teach. I think I just grew up really inspired by my teachers when I was younger. And I always had that like second degree or second thought line or worked in there. And then it was probably my junior year of high school. I actually switched dance studios. My parents made the decision for us. We were at a studio where we were just kind of stuck. Like they didn't want to teach us more unless everybody else was ready to be taught more. And we weren't really growing. They wanted to hold us back from like opportunities as far as travel went. We got scholarships, my sister and I, to go to a summer event, and they were like, you can't go because nobody else got the opportunity. So my parents still
Wow.
took us there. They were all about furthering our education. And so when I switched studios, I had a new solo choreographer who actually went to Northern Michigan University for dance and theater. And he was in, I think, like two or three different companies at the time as well. And
Wow.
he was very modern, contemporary, and as soon as we started working together, he was like, Have you ever considered, like, going and auditioning for dance programs?" And I was like, "Well, I always wanted to dance, but I am, like, a first generation college student, so I had no clue, like, what that even looked like." And he essentially was like, "You have the range to, like, go as far as you want. I'm going to push you to help you get there." And he kind of paved the way for me to, like, audition for all of these programs, and he was actually the one that introduced me to Western Michigan. They weren't even on my radar. I was, like, diehard stuck in my ways. I'm going to go to, like, Michigan State or U of M, and after touring both, I was like, I don't it's not really the fit for me. And he recommended Western and that they were like the second best dance program in the country or something at that time. And so I went and auditioned, toured the campus, loved it. And luckily I was accepted in. So that's kind of his name's Josh Rubietta. He really influenced me. And I know he worked with a lot of people in Chicago that actually went to Western's dance program as well. So he's been a
Gosh,
big influencer for a lot of people.
that's so cool. And that's so interesting
Yeah.
to like hear about your studio experience because I like luckily like never felt that I
Mhm.
was kind of stuck. But I also think about if I mean, it's hard obviously because I wasn't in that position, but to think about, I think people have a hard time leaving, especially as a kid, like, because you have friends and I don't know, it could be a me thing too, but I have such a like loyalty. Like, I
Yeah.
will not leave. Like, I just don't want to leave unless it's like really bad. So that's like cool that your parents were able to kind of help you in that way. Were you, okay, not resentment. Did you like disagree with them at the time? Was it hard for you or did they have to convince you or were you like, yeah, like it's time?
Think I would have never been the one to bring it up again, like a loyalty standpoint. And I mean, me being a junior in high school, I was already 16. I spent what, like 13 to 14 years under this main instructor, the director of that studio. I spent more time with her than I spent with my parents. So
Right.
it was one of those where, like, I would have never brought it up, but my studio actually saw so many of my friends leave. It was at a point where I only had, like, 1 or 2 friends left there, and then I just kept seeing all of these things, like, I wanted to learn more, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, and I was specifically being told no. like not unless everybody else in the class is at the same point. And then we were a very age based studio as well. So like you wouldn't get moved up to the next class that was advanced, doing more advanced technique unless you were of age. So
Yeah.
it wasn't skill based. And I think really our instructor and director, unfortunately, just wasn't as skilled as she needed to be either. And so we saw a lot of turnover within the studio itself. And I think my parents saw, we ended up going to that convention that we got the scholarship for. It was a week long intensive in California. And I think my parents really noticed during like the showcase aspect there how much my sister and I grew in just 1 week of more thorough training. And they kind of had the discussion with themselves and brought it to us, said it was ultimately our choice. And we would go take trial classes at studios first to see if there was a place that we felt like home and liked. And it ended up working out to where I think we tried classes at 2 different places, and one we were absolutely in love with. The owner and the, other dancers just really brought us in, and I don't think we either one of us would have gotten to the point we are in our dance careers if it wasn't for that transition.
Yeah, and it's like that concept of like having to almost be selfish sometimes and like that,
Mhm.
do what's best for you. And it's cool that, I mean, it definitely helps too when you're like, okay, like, what's the
Yeah.
vibe? Other people see like, let's go see what else is out there. And I feel like there's nothing wrong, even if you're happy at your studio, like seeing what else is out there because you don't know what you don't know. And like, you can only be as talented as the best person in the room or like your
Mhm.
teacher or whoever it is. So that's really cool. I love that. When we were in college, we're fast forwarding again, did you have another major? Like, was it just dance? What was kind of your thought process going in as a dance major?
Yeah, so I actually started off my first year as a double major in dance and chemistry.
Ooh, a chemist.
Yeah,
I love that.
definitely, didn't really know what I was doing there. I was really into, like, forensic science and going somewhere along, like, the criminal justice route, but more on, like, the anatomy side. So, in my head, I was like, "Oh, okay, if I'm not gonna be a dancer, I could be, like, a coroner," as crazy as that sounds.
Uh,
That was, like, my 2nd, like, dream job.
I mean, it's the body. Like, I get that. Like, I was an exercise science major, which I mean, I feel like maybe a little less like niche, I guess.
Yes.
That's so cool. I love that though. I love like, I watch like CSI shows or whatever. I'm like, another life, I'm going to be like an FBI agent, but it's definitely not this one.
Yeah. Well, so then like I could have probably gone a different route with that too. But again, I was kind of clueless, first generation college
For
student.
sure.
People were telling me chemistry was a good route. Chemistry was hard. I was like, I do not want to do this long term. So then, second semester, first year, I took a few like rec business classes, and then I took the intro to exercise science. Actually, I hated
Okay.
business. I could not sit in like those lectures all day every day. I feel like it was something that long term we ended up learning a lot about actually throughout the dance program at Western,
Yeah,
but I was really intrigued on the exercise science side. So I ended up switching my second major to exercise
she
science as
is.
well.
Well, I only lasted 1 semester. I was like the opposite. So I should have started chemistry and then maybe I would have stuck with exercise science, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Just kidding. But okay, so exercise science and dance team, all of the
Yes.
things.
Yes. All of
Okay,
the
wait.
things.
Talk to us about dance team and then we can like
Hmm.
integrate it a little bit because I have
Yeah.
no experience, which I'm sad a little bit that I don't, but
No worries. So dance team, I feel like that was always a no-brainer for me. In my mind, before I knew that I could like go to college and major in dance, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna be on dance team and do this major, whatever I ended up deciding. And like I said, I started doing dance team at my school in middle school, and that was probably like 7th grade. I did the team all the way up until the junior year of high school. And I actually ended up re-auditioning and making the team my senior year. And then I realized I really wanted to focus on becoming a dance major and focusing more on studio dance that year. Um, but I just loved game days. I love football. I loved being on the sidelines. So I knew that was a no brainer for me regardless. And that audition for Western's dance team was actually long after the audition for the dance program. So I had already known 6 months prior that I had been selected for the dance program at Western. And then I like turned in my formal acceptance. So I was going to Western regardless on what happened. And then in May was the audition for the dance team. So I went into the audition. I kind of felt a little bit like an underdog. I was really strong in some areas, but I felt like technically I was still just a little behind. An example of where we were being held back in my studio before is I didn't start learning cone turns or tours, depending on what you call them, until I was a junior in high school. And like that's
Wow,
pretty
yeah.
late. Now there's like 6-year-olds on the stage that are going
Yes.
crazy with them. I felt like that was a point where I wasn't as technically advanced as the other girls I was competing against. But I feel like the sideline is really where my personality comes out. And I grew up on a really heavy palm team. So as far as like the sideline motions, that was a huge strong suit for me. And I was selected to be a member that first year. Luckily, my roommate for freshman year, Haley, you know Haley,
Of
she was
course.
a dance major as well, and she auditioned for the team with me, and we both made it. So it was very nice to have like a companion throughout it all. Kind of gave me the reassurance that like we could do it. And I mean, as you probably know, there were a few people who were dance majors and on dance team before Haley and I that ended up leaving the dance program. So Haley and I were the first people that really were like, we want to accomplish both. So that's how I got
Yeah,
to
and
the dance.
I remember, like, that vividly too. Okay, yes, shout out Haley, we love. And I love what you said too about the audition and just having that awareness of, like, my technique isn't where it, like, quote, unquote, "needs to be," and, like, in a non-judgmental way. Like, how did you take that and not let that affect your confidence? Like, you still made it and you still, like, worked so hard. So I feel like it's really easy to just get down on yourself instead of like, "Oh, like, I'm not where I need to be. Like, how can I keep pushing?"
Yeah, that's a great question. So there was actually one moment in the audition where I did get really scared. We had a callback round, well, several callback rounds, and I got called back once. And I got called back with the three tallest girls on the team. They were actually all three dance majors that
Uh,
had
also
retired.
for reference, how tall are you?
Yeah, I'm 4'11", and they were all over 5'8". So they were all
My
like at
goodness.
least a foot taller than me. And they were seniors on the team, like, they were going into their senior season.
Oh my gosh.
So, me, a little old freshman, getting a call back with 3 tall seniors, and they called us back specifically to
Oh,
just
no, we
us
already
cone
talked
turns.
about this.
Yes, and so that was where I, like, felt like I was struggling, and in my head, I was like, "This is my make or break it moment." Like, they're either seeing if, like, I can blend in and keep up or what, and I'm actually, like now, I'm a really strong turner, like, turns are one of my strong suits, and I was always great at pirouettes, but, like, just learning that 2 years ago, like, I did not get the concept. I needed a lot more technical training, and the team helped me with that after making it, but in that moment I was just like, I have to try my best. And I showed up in everything else that I did. And at the end of the day, if this is the one reason why they aren't going to take me, I'm going to focus on this specifically thing for the next year. And I'm going to come back again. Um, but it was really hard because, again, Haley was my one friend during this audition. And Haley was like a top tier turner at that time. And I was like, oh no,
She's
like my
next level.
roommate's gonna make it and I'm not. So like that was actually kind of like a motivator in my head. I was like, I need to do it, if not for myself, for the sole fact that like I want to be here with Haley and Haley's
Yeah.
waiting for me to make this team with her. So I don't know, but I think I have like if I were to give any advice, I hate to say it, but you have to be like so internally cocky in yourself in the areas that you know you excel in to then
Yes.
allow yourself to still feel confident in the areas where you're struggling.
And I
Like it
think, like, owning what you're not the best
Mhm.
at is also a level of confidence that you're able to have that humility and be like, "Okay, like, I'm not the best at this, but, like, let me show you what I can do," because no one's gonna be you can't be good at everything. Maybe like two people in the world can, but like you can't be good at everything and like knowing that your strength. And I think that confidence is more important than anything because no one, even if you can do a million turns, but you're like scared the whole time, like who cares? Like no one wants to watch that. It's about like
Definitely.
the performance, which is really, really cool and inspiring. How was it managing both? So, like, because the dance department's pretty demanding, and I would imagine that dance team is also very demanding, and you had forensics, just kidding, exercise science on but exercise science was a ton, that's why I ended up dropping it because I did it for a semester, and I was like, "How the heck am I gonna do all this?" Like,
Definitely.
it's a lot, so how you, like, manage
It
all of
was
that?
a lot. Honestly, the first year, just balancing dance team and dance major, Haley and I always joke, like, we were left in the dust. Like, personally, we never understood what was happening in the dance program. Like, I hate to say it, I don't know if we just like weren't educating ourselves or we were too focused on dance team, but like we missed every single audition. We had no clue when these auditions were. We would find them on the chalkboard after they had already happened.
Chalkboard, yes.
We had no clue that our FYP dance wasn't going to be in gala that year. We were one of the only classes whose FYP dance wasn't in gala. So
I do
we
remember
didn't
that.
earn a performance credit for it. So then we were like, we just went our whole entire first year not auditioning for anything and not getting a performance credit. And then we hear everything about people saying, like, "Well, yeah, you can get blacklisted." We're like, we're going to get blacklisted for not
What?
like going to anything.
That is so f like, it's all, like, flooding back to me now, like, the
Yeah.
memories of everything. Yeah, not, like, of you, but just, like, yeah, getting
Yeah.
blacklisted or,
And we
all the
were terrified.
yes.
We Our only example of people who had done dance team and dance major had all left the dance program and they all had a bad taste of the dance program in their mouth. So we never like had someone to discuss the balance with. So the first year was really hard. I mean, we both enjoyed it, but we went into the second year like, okay, we need to audition for things and we need to change this. Like we need to show that we're committed. We're going into sophomore year. We know we have sophomore reviews coming up like 6 months in.
And, like, people don't know either, and, we can't speak for all, like, college dance programs, but yeah, you, like, literally needed I don't know what it was, but you needed a certain amount of performance credits to, like, complete your degree and graduate. Like, it's
Exactly.
not just like, "Oh, I didn't get to perform." Like, no, you had to.
Right. And you have to audition and be selected. So, and
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, you can't wait until your junior or senior year to get like at least your first credit. So,
Right.
yeah, that was scary. And then Haley wanted to be a BFA. I was only doing a BA because I was double majoring, but she needed even more performance credits if she was accepted in, and she ended up
So
getting
much.
accepted in. So, yeah, it was crazy trying to balance that. But then luckily on the other side of things, our dance team coach was very great at accommodating, and she trusted the fact that Haley and I showed up to practice ready to go every single day. So once we both were selected for a piece for gala, we had rehearsals one night of the week that was actually during the same time as our dance team practice. And she let us miss all of those dance team practices to go to our
Wow.
gala rehearsal as long as we continued to show up to our other practices ready to go. At the end of the day, she was like, "You guys are still dancing. You dance for school too. Like, you're doing more than half the people on this team. So, like, go do it. Do what you need to do," which
Wow,
was,
shout out her. Yeah,
yeah,
that's so rare because I just feel like a lot of times people get almost possessive of their dancers of
yes,
like, no, like you need to be here. But it's like all these are like supporting each other. And like you said, as long as you're not falling behind and you're able to like keep up with like what you need to be doing, there's just no reason.
yeah.
That's wow. That is a lot. So was the dance team practices, it was how many nights a week
So during
ish?
like football season, it was more so just like Monday through Wednesday, um, between like I would say 3 and 4 hours every evening. We
So much.
had Yeah, we had a 1-hour workout 2 times a week before practice, and then I feel like we always practiced for at least 3 hours, sometimes it would go over, but we went into practice kind of with a start time and not really like an end time. It was like we end when everything that's on our agenda is finished.
Yeah.
And then during competitive season, because we did compete at nationals, we would practice Monday through Thursday. And then as we got closer to nationals, we would do two-a-days, mornings and evenings. So it got intense during that spring semester. And that's also when we were in full gala mode. So, yeah.
It's giving like in a good, like a crazy way, like high school, where like high school, you go that long. And then from my experience, like in college, I'm like, oh, wow. Like, how did I do that in high school? Because it was, you sometimes have morning practice, you go to school, you go to your dance team practice or extracurriculars, then you go to dance. But like, you're doing that as a full adult in college, like trying to manage like social life and grades. And like, you're going to dance class, getting graded on your dancing. Like, that's just like a lot of levels to it. So that's cool that it can be done. Like it can be done.
Definitely.
It's cool to see someone be able to manage that in college because I know for me, when I was in college, I was so worried about like, maybe not worried, but like focused on other things and like not keeping my head like this, like the social part of it. You know what I mean? Like football. Like I was going to watch you at football games. I was watching. Like, what was that easy? Maybe not easy, but did you feel like you were like giving anything up doing that? Or what would you
Not
say
at
to someone who
all.
was considering doing both?
Yeah, honestly, like I said, I lived and breathed the sideline. I loved being on the field for football games. I loved being in uniform. I loved the whole aspect about it. And I mean, I think I experienced my first tailgate like 2 months ago, going to a Lions game, and I'm 27. So that was kind of wild to say, but I never felt like I was missing out on in life. And especially like everybody else on the dance team was doing it right with you. And then we would all have that time to hang out after the game. I mean, in college, people are hanging out all day long on game days.
Truly,
The second
truly.
we were waking up to literally the next morning. So I never felt like we were missing out on anything. If anything, I took it as like a bonus. Like this is something I get to experience that like nobody else does. So it was very much a reward for me.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And like, I have to just ask because I'm obsessed with like college, high school sweethearts. So, like,
Yeah.
your now husband,
Yeah.
when did you guys meet? Like, he got to get a good taste of dancer life, like pretty
Yeah,
early,
he got the
probably.
full taste of
Like,
dancer
he
life.
knew what he was signing up for.
He did, he did. We actually met, so we both had early move-in. Being on dance team, we had to move in early with all the other athletes for practices, and then he actually had a work-study position, so he moved into the dorm early as well, and we happened to be in the same dorm. And literally the first day we moved in, Haley and I were walking out to go to practice, and he was sitting, like, out in our lounge area, and funny story, like, I actually had a boyfriend at the time that I was fully committed to, like, keeping when I went to college, but, like, I saw him and I
Mm-mm.
was like, "Oh, Haley, that guy's really cute."
Oh my
And,
God.
and then, like, 2 we didn't talk, we didn't say anything. 2 weeks into college, I was like, "Yeah, I'm still, like, thinking this guy is cute." Like, I think that's a sign that I, like, cannot commit to my boyfriend back at home long term.
Oh my
So, I
gosh.
ended up ending things there. We're like, it was the right thing to do. Like, I wasn't sad going through that. Like, it broke my heart to, like, have to do that, but I wasn't sad, and that's how I knew it was the right thing. Like, I was more
Yeah.
excited for what could come later down the line. And so here in my head, I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna, like, take a shot at." I was calling him the cute desk boy. I had no clue what his name was.
I'm obsessed.
Yes.
I'm obsessed.
And, so I got him on Snapchat, and I literally would reach out to him, like, 2 to 3 times a week. Would open it, never respond. Literally, this went on for 5 months,
My gosh.
and I finally decided to, like, just give up for a moment, and then we went home for the holidays, and he ended up Snapchatting me. So then I was like, "Wait."
What was his, now that you know, like, what was his angle with
Yeah.
that?
So actually, like the first week we moved to college, I got this message on Instagram from some guy that went to Western. He was a freshman as well. I had no clue who he was. And it was like, hey, I've seen you around campus. Like, I think you're cute. Was wondering if I could take you out sometime. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not interested in anything at this time. Like, just turned him away. Well, it turns out he was one of Ben's friends. like more so acquaintance, but they went to school together. And I guess they went back home. We're all hanging out. Ben was talking about this girl that kept Snapchatting him, and he thought he was going to go for it. And this guy was like, oh no, like she is all about the football team. Like it just kind of like put a bad taste of me in Ben's mouth. And so Ben was like, all right, like that's not what I'm about. Like I was Ben's first girlfriend, and so he was like, yeah, that's not like the type of person I'm going for. I'm going for someone that's like committed and like ready to go for like the long haul. And then I guess I was just so persistent that he was like, all right, like I feel like I got it. Like, there's no way this girl is just focused on the football team. She keeps
Yeah.
reaching out to me. So then he finally decided to like give it a go and just Snapchatted me. And then I ended up asking him to like our dance team formal and to do our guy girl dance actually on the basketball court before we had ever gone out on a first date. And he said yes to both. So he was like committed to the dance like
Wait,
from day one.
you're bringing, like, when you know, to, like, a whole new level. Like, you knew just from, like, looking at him because
Yes.
I would've I don't first of all, at that age, I don't know if I would've ever even had the guts to, like, reach out first, let alone, like, persist. Like, one rejection would have been enough. Like, one lack of response, I'd have been like, "Okay, bye." But that just shows you that you gotta go after what you want in life.
Yes,
I
definitely.
love that. I'm
And
so obsessed.
I we he ended up asking me out on a first date before we ended up doing the guy girl dance, and
That's
I
probably good.
remember coming back to Haley and I was like, "I swear to God, I'm going to marry this man." Like he like that was the best first date I've ever had. He's the one. And then like right on that first date, he was like, "So, I know you dance, like what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I am a dance major. I have this other degree, but like long term, I want to dance and then we'll see where life takes us elsewhere." And he was just like, okay, it sounds like you have a plan. And that's rare. As you know, that's like rare in the dance world. It's like, okay, you want to dance?
Like, what do you
That's
mean?
the
What
response
does
you
that
get.
look like?
But he was all in. He came to all the galas. He was at every game. So
I
he
love
was just
that.
ready to go.
Dance
Buckle.
boyfriends are so important because dance is just like a wild, emotional, physical journey. And like, it's cool that you had someone like
Yeah.
so awesome and supportive through
And
all
he
of
was
it,
the
which I
one
love
making the
that.
dinners, so when I got back from
Yeah.
practice, like, there was food for me. He was literally the best.
Oh,
To do that as, like, a college boy, I feel like was, like, unheard of to me.
no,
I was like, I
for sure.
could not like, that was doing the most.
But it's so cool to think of, like, the whole, like, God gives you what you can handle because, like, I think back, I had no serious boyfriend in college, not because I didn't want one, that's just, like, wasn't in the cards, but,
Yeah.
like, to think if my load was like yours, like, I don't know if I would've like, when I was in Rockhead season, like, Garrett was literally making meals, like, he was taking care of me, so it's, like, kinda similar to where, like, you need someone to lean on for support, and so, like, he was given to you, which is so cool. I don't know. Wow. Let's move on because he's still part of the journey for like
Yes.
ever, obviously. When you graduated, what did that look like immediate, like post grad, like jobs? Like, yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, so I graduated spring of 2020, peak COVID.
Oh,
And to give a little insight, I was actually planning on going into cardiac rehab. I had done an internship for exercise science. You have to do an internship in order to graduate. And my internship was in exercise science, or not exercise science, cardiac rehab. And I absolutely loved it. The hospital that I was working at kind of had an in for me there. And I was teaching while I was doing my internship. So my mind was, okay, that's what I'm going to do after. And I had an opportunity lined up. And then as soon as COVID hit, they set the opportunity and I lost that. And so it was like, scary moment. Deer in headlights, what's coming next? As anybody at that time, all of my friends lost their jobs too. So we just had 2 more months left of school. That was all online. And then we also didn't have the opportunity as a dance program. Typically, you take a senior trip to go perform in a city. Ours was supposed to be in New York, and that trip just got canceled and never happened. So we also didn't have the opportunity to go to these auditions for companies and go like see a city and show what we can do out there. So I didn't really have like anything going there as well. And then I think about 2 months in, maybe a month into COVID, the director of the studio that I was teaching at actually approached me and said she wanted to resign. She wanted more time with her kids and asked if I would be interested in taking over. And that was like moment because I had always wanted to own my own dance studio and just teach. And it was like my dream job was being handed to me. How that environment went was she actually like the husband and a wife that own this facility and they have three businesses within it: gymnastics program, a dance program, and a daycare. And so then they just hired people in to run all of the divisions. So they don't really do anything. But
That's
I
like
could
genius though to have those all together.
Right.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I could run this business without actually, like, investing in it, which was perfect for me, like, coming fresh out of college, and it was right in Kalamazoo. So I took that on. I started up a competitive team there. I grew the program, and I did that for 3 years post grad. I absolutely loved it, and after my first year, coaching position also opened up for the dance team out Western. So I came back and I ended up coaching the team for 2 years as well.
That's so iconic. Like you just did everything all at once. Like you expect people to be like, yeah, like I served at a restaurant and like, man, also maybe the business would have been good. Did you feel like what was that like switching to like business side of it instead of, I mean, obviously you did a lot of the dance part as well, but
Yeah.
how did that play into it?
Yeah, so I did lean on my mom actually a lot during that time. Luckily, she had kept all of my old like studio folders, and I was like, "Give me all of the like contracts, the schedules, payment plans. Give me all of that so I can kind of put it together." But I am like a spreadsheet Excel queen. I love numbers. I'm a huge math and science person. Like sitting down at the computer and actually doing the business side, I enjoyed it so much. I mean, there were times when it was stressful, but I'm also a type A person. So it was one of those where like I wanted to get it right. And it was something I was also excited about. Like numbers can be fun when you're excited about it.
And when you like, it's something new and
Hmm.
it's supporting something else that you really love. Like, I think maybe in a business class, when it's all hypothetical, you're like, what? I don't know
Hmm.
how this is actually going to help me versus when you're in it and you're passionate about the business that you're creating or starting and taking over. It's like such a different mindset. And also, I think it's funny like dance team precision because I'm also a math science like brained person. It's interesting to see like how different dancers gravitate towards different styles even, right? Like
Yes, definitely.
cuz I was never like improv in a modern class, forget it. Like I might as well have not been professionally trained. Like like not that I'm speaking for you, maybe you probably were beautiful, but like just what
Improv
you
wasn't my strong suit, but I
no,
love modern, but improv,
no, like tell me what I need to be doing. Like
yeah,
I need to know. Like I can create something, but like then it has structure. So it's cool to like
yeah,
see all that and get to flex a different muscle. I don't know, I think it's cool to
yeah,
connect like both parts of the brain. Is
definitely. I
so
agree.
is Ben was Ben in Kalamazoo with you while you were doing all this?
Yes,
And
he
okay.
was. And he was a business major actually. So I had him as a resource as well and
Perfect.
support. Oh, sorry.
No, I said it takes a team. It takes a
Oh, it
village.
it definitely does.
Yeah.
And he jumped right into sales. He was actually a supply chain major, but he took a sales class his last semester and loved it. So he jumped right into sales. Um, and he was in his first job for I think about a year, and then he got a new position that was actually remote. So he did that for about 2 years, I think, before we moved, but that was still in sales. So he was a great resource as far as marketing numbers, handling those business conversations. I would kind of talk everything through with him before taking it to the table.
That's like the theme of what I'm like hearing about everything too is that like you're so good at knowing your strengths and knowing when to like ask for help, which I think is a cool thing as well, where people are so afraid to ask for help or they feel like they have to do it all themselves, but knowing that it's like probably for the best to lean on other people and like learn from other people. I think that as dancers specifically too, it's like I just have to do everything and I have to be perfect all the time. Where it's like, no, like you don't know what's going on behind the scenes and like who's there to help. And like you don't have to take it all on yourself, especially when you are lucky to have such a great support system. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
That's so cool. So you were obviously really happy doing all this.
I
So
was.
what talk to me, the switch. You're like,
Yeah.
something's missing. What happened?
So the first year doing both dance team and the studio, I still loved it, but it was a lot. It was hard, it was heavy. I felt like it was the team was brought back, the dance team was being brought back since COVID. There were a lot of new guidelines there. I was getting a lot of pushback from the COVID guidelines, which wasn't even a decision I made. It was like NCAA rules. And so there was just a lot that I was dealing with on the parent side in college dance that I didn't even deal with on like the studio side. So,
Yeah, that's so interesting. Like, why are parents involved still in college? What?
right. And that's where my headspace was. And that weighed on me a lot. Like it was just a lot of fires that I felt like I was putting out, or like conversations I was having to have. And it was like the little things that like I shouldn't have to be doing, but that are taking up my whole entire day. And so that first year was like just pretty rough. I mean, it went really well. We made it to finals at nationals, which was my goal for like starting a team back up fresh. I feel like overall it was really good. We didn't have any turnover coming back for the new audition, so everybody at least wanted to re-audition for the team again. But I will say, like that first year of the team, I was a part of the audition process, but I didn't go into auditions that first year knowing that I was going to coach. I was helping my coach pick the team, and then right after the team was selected, she said that she was resigning. And they had 2 weeks before the first football game to get a new coach, or they were going to continue to cut the program. So that's where I was in the area and I decided to hop in to help
That's
out
so
the
cool.
team. And I think what was also hard was I was only a year out of college. And the juniors and seniors on the team, I was on the team with. So
Yeah,
it was that dynamic of teammate and peer versus coach. And then I feel like it was hard for the underclassmen to know what the dynamic was, since the upperclassmen were kind of respecting me in between being a coach or being like a same leveled peer. So it was hard to get the respect that I felt like I needed. And going into the second season, I was like, this is my audition. I'm going to like select the team that I feel like is strong. It was a crazy strong audition, and some returning members were cut. And that caused a lot of issues within the team and with those who got cut on the outside of the team. The dynamic, so the to explain a little bit more, some of the people that were cut, some of their friends made it back. So there was like a dynamic there that was hard to balance, and there was negative energy being pulled into the team and then negative energy circulating outside of the team. So there was a little divide within the people who were on the team, and then we just didn't start off great there. We got to camp, I thought it was great, and then afterwards, it just continued to trickle down, and I could see it pulling the energy away from the dancers within the team that really wanted to invest and be there. And so the team dynamic just wasn't strong, and then mentally, I was declining, and my energy and commitment to the team wasn't where I had wanted it to be at the start of the season. And it was probably the lowest point I had ever gotten to mentally, and it was taking away my drive from the studio as well, which was something that I loved so much, and the dancers there were amazing. Like, they never gave me, like, the reason to not show up for them. I wanted to every day, but, like, this was weighing so heavily on me that, like, really I just wanted to stay on the couch all day and cry. Um, so I remember approaching Ben, and he was working remote at this point, and it was the middle of the season, and I just like broke down to him, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was too scared to quit. As you said, like the loyalty aspect, I was too scared to walk away from both sides. And I'm getting a little emotional when I'm talking about it, even because it was like the hardest decision I've ever made. But I was like, I just can't. And we travel a lot as a couple. So we had been to Colorado. We loved it. It was our favorite place aside from Maine. And we said we always wanted to live there for a moment if given the opportunity. And again, Ben worked remote. He was like, "You don't have to do it anymore. Like,
Yeah.
what if we take this opportunity to go explore somewhere else?"
That
And
is so cool that yeah.
yeah, it was so cool. And at that point, I was like, I've always wanted to be an NFL cheerleader, but at this point, it's 3 years past college. I felt the opportunity had passed. I hadn't danced myself, I was just coaching, but it's like, I can still move. I know I can. Now's the time if I want to do anything. If we're moving to Colorado, I have like one stipulation. I want to audition for the Denver Broncos cheer team. I was like, if I don't make it, we can move anywhere we want in Colorado. But if I make it, we'll have to be relatively close to
Yeah.
Denver. And Ben was like, 100%. I say, go for it. He was
Oh my
like all in.
gosh.
And this was
That's
probably
so
November,
cool.
and the first round of auditions started in March. But we made that decision, and then I told my parents probably a month later. And, right off the bat at first, like, what? You're moving across the country. You're
Don't
quitting
leave
these
us.
jobs that you've worked so hard for. And I had a few conversations with the moms of my studio dancers, and they were trying really hard to keep me. They were like, what if we like invested in a studio for you, helped you get like a few of them were realtors. Like, what if we helped you get a property and you started up your own studio and just cut out the dance team and we started all fresh? And it just didn't feel right to me. So I was like, no, this is what we're doing. I explained to my parents, like, I'm not doing the Lions team. My goal and my dream has been Denver Broncos. We want to take this time. I gave them all the reasons why I was auditioning, and then they were like, okay. And I ended up getting to the point where the auditions rolled around, and they were cheering for me just as hard, fingers crossed, hoping that the opportunity came. And it was wild. The auditions were in the middle of national season for the dance team. I still did the dance team in the studio for the full year, so it became this hard
Oh
area of
my
balance too.
gosh. That is so
Mm.
much. And like, first of all, that is so sad. And I'm sorry that that happened because I think like a lot of people don't understand like the intimacy of a dance like company or a dance team, both like within the girls and like coaching and everything, and how much a negative environment can affect someone. Like truly, because especially something like dance, it's all very like it's a passion based like thing that we're all doing. Like
Definitely.
people are there because they love it. So then, not that you're not invested in any other type of job, surely you are, but we can speak for dance specifically, like you're invested in it. Not You're not doing it for like the money or for anything other than because you like love it. And so then when you're giving your all, if like you're not being met back with it by the other people in the room, it's such an energy thing that it like really, really can affect. Like that doesn't surprise me that you had a breakdown because that's so much. And it's also just if any like younger dancer is listening, like that happens, right? Like even in the professional world post college, there are times where your peers become your like superiors, and it does no one any good to like not give them the respect that they deserve. Like you were in that position for a reason. There's like just no reason to ruin the overall dynamic of the team. And like that is an opportunity for dancers to rise up and be leaders in that situation, like they
Definitely.
and rally the team and like be there for each other. So that is a lot, but hindsight,
Mhm.
everything happens for a reason in
Does.
the sense of like maybe you would have not taken that jump for Denver if you were happy in
Yeah,
that situation.
I
So
fully
that's a
agree
really
with
cool
that.
thing. Like, that's such a cool thing too, and, like, also so funny the logic behind it. Because I remember when I was telling my parents about moving to New York and, like, had it all, like, set up, and I'm like, "This is my why, like, this is what I'm doing," and they're like, "Okay," and then it's like, you almost can't they can't argue with you.
Yeah, no,
Like,
there was no
and
arguing.
yeah, like, you're like, you it's literally you obviously thought about this, and it's such a cool thing for I know probably was stressful in the moment too of the dance moms trying to, like, pull you when you're trying to go a different direction, but also, like, how cool that they
Yeah.
valued you and cared about you so much, but doesn't make it easy for
Mm.
sure, so I'm glad you were able to, like, block out the noise and listen to your gut. So you auditioned while because it was still virtual because it was COVID?
So, this was the spring of 2023.
So you're done.
March. Yeah, March was prelims, and they actually had 2 options. So they had a in-person option or a virtual option since so many people from out of state do audition, and
That's
then
nice.
finals is separate, and that is all in person. So it gives the option to only travel once if you do make it to finals, but going into it, I did all of their prep classes, and all of the veterans were like, I highly encourage you to come in person. They don't take too many people from videos. It's hard to get your personality across, like all of these things. And it actually got to the point where, like, the week of the virtual audition, I debated buying a flight to like fly out and go in person. And I
Oh,
just stuck to my gut and did it virtual. And the way their audition goes virtually is very interesting. It's very different than any other team's virtual audition process. So it's actually on the same exact day as the in person, and it's at the same exact time. So as soon as the in person audition starts, you get sent a link that has a video, a dance video that you have what I believe it's an hour and a half to learn the full minute long routine. You teach it to yourself, record it along with an intro, and then submit it. Like, it has to upload to the Dropbox and be submitted.
wow.
So that was where the stress was like kicking in. Like, I have 1 hour to teach myself this routine, get it good enough to where I can like record it and then send it. And luckily, my sister came up to help me record it. I rented out some studio space, and I think I got it submitted like 3 to 5 minutes before the deadline. It was,
And it's harder with video too because you have the ability to like go back and like nitpick
yes,
versus like when you're in an audition room, you do it once, you give it your best, and you don't get to be like, let me like retry that, you know?
definitely. And the difference too is like for the video, they're just watching your video. It's just you. Like
N-
auditions, you're going in like groups of 3. It's still small, but like if you mess up, they might not see it. If your
Yeah,
foot
you have
was
that
clutched on
safety
that kick,
net.
they might not see it. Like,
But that's, I mean, that's very telling. So, like, that for them as a person looking at the audition tape, like, oh, what can we do? Because I would think that some people maybe just didn't even submit it. Then they're like, never mind, I can't do it. I don't know.
yeah, I feel like it definitely gets to the point where like some people are down to the wire and it's like, okay, I wanted to audition for this team, but I couldn't get my video in time. And then they only took so many people. I think they took 2 of us from the virtual candidates to finals.
Well,
And the way they announced the finalists is crazy too. So I think we had to wait a week and a half, and they were announcing the finalists on social media at like 8 p.m. Eastern time or something. So I was teaching, and I didn't know this before because, of course, I'm a rookie candidate. But I guess if you aren't selected to make it to finals, they'll send you an email prior so you aren't sitting and watching. And then if you did make it, you'll get the email after the video is posted on social media. But so as somebody
uh,
who like doesn't know, I had like an anxiety attack that morning, like a panic attack, just like freaking out, felt nauseous, sick. Like I kept watching my video over and over again, which typically if you're in person for an audition, you're just like, okay, yeah, I feel like I gave it my best. You have no video to watch back. I had this video. So now I'm watching it back, nitpicking myself too. And I have no clue what anyone else looked like because I wasn't in person. I didn't see the other video auditions. So I'm getting in my head, and then they post it on social media, and it's just like cycling through, and the director's announcing the names and the numbers, and your headshots up there. And I'm like almost completely finished with the video. I'm like, I didn't make it. And then I'm like the last two, like one of the last two I'm in. And I'm at the studio, and again, nobody knows that I'm auditioning for this team. Like, I kept it under wraps. Nobody knew. So then I'm like so excited. Like, I was literally watching it in the bathroom in the middle of me teaching a class because I couldn't wait. Bad teacher moment. But then
that's
I come
okay.
out and I'm like, oh, thank God I made it. But now I have to fly out for finals the week after the dance team's nationals. So it was like crazy schedule
The
turnover there.
goosebumps I
Yeah.
have. That's so cool though. I would also be in the bathroom. Like I would have maybe had to call in sick. Like that's impressive. Oh my gosh. How did you like prep for that at all?
Yeah.
Like, okay, wait, because obviously dance team, when you were in
Mhm.
dance team, like I'm sure that was a good like prep in
Definitely.
some way, but then it's like you haven't been there for 3 years. Like, were you just doing the same things? Like, how did you approach that?
So I I had always been like strength training, cardio training, working on that since graduating, being an exercise science major and a dancer growing up. I feel like we just always have that love for fitness and we find different ways to love it and enjoy it outside of dance. And so I was still working on my body in that aspect. And I think that helped keep me like prime and ready. But then directing the studio, I did have access to that studio space. So I was coming into that side of my job early. I was working in the studio on my kicks, doing daily stretching, choreographing my own like pro style routines to just work on what Bronco style looked like. And then they actually had a virtual prep option that year. So I did about a month of their virtual prep classes, which ran from 8:30 PM Eastern Time to 11 PM Eastern Time
That's
because they're on
bedtime.
Mountain Time. So I would teach until 8:30 and then I would drive home the first 30 minutes of the prep class being on my phone in the car, get to my living room, and then continue the class all the way until 11 PM. And then I would coach the dance team at 5 AM the next morning. So the
Ma'am.
schedule was crazy.
My goodness. Was it like a class that they put on or like were
Yes,
they
so it was live. Like, they had people in person for the prep class, and there was, like, a phone and a tripod set up in a corner, and then they actually would have a moment, like, at the end of the prep class, they do it in groups, and they would have a virtual group, and one of the main choreographers actually ran the prep classes, so they would come and sit and watch and give you feedback. So, I wanted to do it because if I'm not local, I want them to know who I am before I just submit a video. Like, that was my mindset, and I also wanna learn their style.
No, 100%. And it shows like your investment beforehand, especially like you said, as a virtual person, because you get so much in person energy from meeting someone that you don't get from a screen. So I think it's just like so smart to be being proactive about it. And didn't you just do your own research? How did you find out about the prep class?
Yeah, I was just on their website. They posted stuff on their social media, and then a cool thing about the Denver Broncos is actually each cheerleader has their own social media page, that gets passed on to, like, whoever makes the team next, and they
Cool.
also post about it, like, they're required to share certain things that the main page posts, so it was all over social media. I think, like, they had emails listed for the captains. I don't think those actually existed, but I emailed every single one of them. I also emailed the director. Like, I was trying to get any insight or information. I was also panicking that the final round was going to be the same week as nationals, and I was worried about that. So I had emailed probably way too many times. I probably shouldn't have emailed that much, but so many times just hoping to get an answer, and I never did. But I believe that my email was like it
Michaela,
was seen.
it's giving Ben 2.0.
It really
I'm
is.
obsessed.
Um, I had, like, message girls on social media too.
But like both situations paid off.
They did.
Well, and I think I cut you off, but you were saying like you think your emails like helped, which I'm sure it
I do.
did.
The
Like they were
audition
like,
ended
okay,
up
this
being
girl,
the week after, and in those emails, I was like, "It's the NDA, like, dance competition. I know all of these high schools go. There's probably several coaches or people who wanna audition or even college girls that are trying to audition for a pro team." So, I don't know if it actually helped, but I had sent several emails, and they weren't the same weekend.
so it worked out. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, please help a girl out. Okay, we need help. I mean, you did the physical, the mental, and the like networking prep for this audition.
Yeah.
So you get to finals, you fly into Denver for finals.
Yes. Yeah, it was actually kind of a crazy situation. I put Ben on booking the hotel. I was like, "I have everything else. I booked the flights, I booked the rental car, you get the hotel. I can't think about that." Meanwhile, we flew in the night before the first day of finals. I had an interview at a dance studio, so I was teaching some trial classes out there.
Wait, pause, because you were like, I love that. You were like, no, I'm gonna be in Denver. I'm booking this job.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
And so, I go to pull up to the hotel to drop Ben off so I can go to this class, and we pull up to the hotel, and there's like a cop chase outside of it, like literally a cop running and tackling a guy and like 5 cop cars in the parking lot. Mind you, we're also like 30 minutes outside of the city. I have no clue what traffic's like there. And Ben and I are like, yeah, we aren't staying here. Like, I don't even need to walk in. We aren't staying here.
Oh, no.
So we canceled the reservation. I think we still had to pay something. I'm not totally sure. And I was like, okay, Ben, I am putting it on you to find the next hotel.
Redeem yourself.
Yep, he found the next one. He like plugs it into maps. We pull up. It's a La Quinta. Not to like judge a La Quinta. I've seen nice ones. In Michigan, they look pretty nice. In Colorado, we pull up and it's like a motel where you're walking out. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not gonna judge a book by its cover. We go in our room, the curtains have like a brown stain all on it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. There's no like towels, no soap, no fridge, and the carpet's wet, like
What?
soaking wet. Yeah, and it
Oh,
smelled like
yeah.
mildew in there.
No.
And now I have to like leave to go to go teach. Like, Ben, I'm giving you like one more opportunity. You
Third
need
time's a
to,
charm, maybe.
yeah, you need to find a hotel while I teach. Luckily, he was in contact with my parents and they ended up like booking a hotel for us, like right in downtown Denver, like in the city. It was a Hyatt place, those are really, really nice. And so he picked me up and we end up going there. I'm like, thank God we flew in a day before finals started because I can't imagine going through that the first day of finals.
No, and, like, even just where you're staying too, it's like that idea of where your space if your space is messy and gross, like, you don't perform your best. Like,
Definitely.
could you imagine living in that or, like, staying in that place and then having to go be like, "And I'm here and I'm ready." Like, that's just it's even if it was, like, more expensive, it's, like, worth the investment of, like, "I'm gonna stay
Definitely.
somewhere."
And they
Yeah.
had like the complimentary breakfast so I could
Yes.
fuel my body the way I needed to. It
Mhm.
was so, so great. And we were also taking the time to look for a place to live while we were out there outside of the finals time. So it was nice to be in an area where like our life could kind of be scattered, but it still felt put together. Whereas, like you said, in one of those other places, I think it would have been too much chaos. But day one of finals is Friday. It's 3 days. Friday, you're split into groups of 4 or 5, and you have a full panel interview. That's what you start with, business, professional, and they just go down, and you're being interviewed by a panel of 5 people as well. So you get about 4 or 5 questions per person.
My gosh, that's intimidating, especially,
And
like,
you
being a
stand
dancer
up and
first.
yeah, you stand up and you get asked all 4 questions back to back, and so you're answering them in front of the other for girls that are sitting in there, and rookies are mixed with vets. So I had 3 veterans in my group and then me and 2 other potential rookie candidates. I was towards the end. I think I was 47. I was the last group. And so there were 6 of us. And this was probably the most nervous I was the whole weekend. I was more nervous for Friday than any other day. And as soon as I stood up, my first question, we actually had to fill out an application and you put some fun facts on there. And they mentioned that they saw I could sing the alphabet backwards. That's one of my fun facts. And they were like, "Can you really do it?" I was like, "Yes, yes, I can." And they were like, "Can you do it now?" And
Oh my gosh.
so in my mind, I'm like, this is the best way to start an interview because I get to
Yeah.
break the ice. And it's right off the bat, it's showing confidence. Like, if somebody asks you to do something, are you willing to try it? Like, and are you going to crack under pressure? So I sung the alphabet backwards. It worked out and we like laughed and giggled. And then it, like, for me, it calmed all of my nerves. And I can't really even remember what else was asked other than like why Denver, why Broncos, why am I making the move? But I remember thinking it went really well. And then we go on to the next portion, which is a headshot. So I feel like what a lot of people actually don't realize with like professional auditions, and I don't know if this is the case for everyone, but like your appearance does matter. And it's not always like, okay, what's hair and makeup look like? It's like, what's your height? What's your physique? How do you work in front of a camera? For us, that's the biggest thing. Are you photogenic? Are you able to work in front of a camera? Because a lot of what we do is like poster child, social media. So they give every single person the same exact outfit and you take a headshot. And that is part of the audition scoring. You're scored on your headshot.
That is wild. Like that. I mean, it does make sense, but yeah, like, do you know, it's so funny because it totally is a skill, but like growing up, being a dancer, you're like, maybe don't even think about how a normal person might not know how to like smile did you prep for that? Or you just were like, no, I can just smile and like,
I just picked out poses, but other than that, again, just like being a dancer and a dance major and on dance team, I feel like you're always taking photos, like every year dance photos and things like that. So to me, it was just this is what we've always done, and I'll pick out a few poses that I feel confident in, and we'll see. I guess I focused on how I wanted my hair or makeup, but other than that,
wait, you have to send me so I can upload your
I
rookie.
will.
Do you have those headshots?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yes.
I love that. Wow. Okay, that's after you sing backwards, the alphabet.
Yes, and
Right, right.
then the last thing on Friday is a 100-point football test, handwritten, and that's very unique to our team. I think we're one of the only teams that still does it. But
Wow.
yeah, you have
Like the how to play football, like the logistics, the rules?
yeah, so it's a mix of the actual game and Broncos football history. So you have
Cute.
questions that are like story problems in math, where it's like, okay, the Broncos have the ball at the 20-yard line. He passes it to the wide receiver who catches it at the 10-yard line. But then there was this flag on the play. And then the next play, the ball gets to the 5-yard line. But then there was this flag on the opposite team. At what yard line would the next play start on?
Shut up.
And you have to answer it. And so not only do you have to know one like football field, but you have to know the penalties and how many yards the team gets pushed back based off of the penalty. And so like there's story problems like that. Then they give us a full depth chart that's blank. Players on this side, players on this side. You have to like list what player is what position, who it is based off of their number. So you
So
have to know the
basically,
roster.
they want you to be cheerleaders and also assistant coaches to the football team. That is so
Basically,
cool.
I like to joke that sometimes we know more about the entire game than the players because the players know their position and like if they're on offense, they know all of offense, but how much do they know about defense?
That's wild. Wow. That's now your new fun fact is that you're good
Yeah.
at football trivia or football.
Yes,
No, not
definitely.
football trivia, football like math problems.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Wow. So do you like know you passed? Like do you get a
Yes. I
score?
think I got either an 87 or a 92 on that, which that was
Okay.
the part that I was most terrified for. I heard from several girls on the team before, not sure if this is true, but that like you need an 80% or higher in order to even be like in the running for the team. And you don't know what you get until you make the team.
That's
So
funny. At least you
it
still
was
got
kind
to
of crazy.
dance, I guess, regardless. You're
Yeah,
like, let me redeem myself. It's like this fighting for your life
exactly.
solos on so you think you could dance, but it's like because you failed
Right.
your test.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you made it. You did it. You danced and
Yeah,
like
the
where
next 2 days were all dancing. At the end of the like, you learned more as you went. It was a lot of quick learning on the spot and then perform. Saturday was a full workshop day, mostly technique and, like, shorter routines, like 30 seconds to a minute, and then Sunday, we performed everything we had already learned and learned a new routine on the spot and then had about an 8 count or a 4 8 count solo, and then, like, a formal introduction in front of a microphone. And
wow.
my audition group was me and 2 vets, one auditioning for her 3rd season and one that was auditioning for her 7th season and was like a 4-year captain. And yeah, so it's a little intimidating, but I was like,
Yeah.
if I can dance to the same potential as them or like blend in with them, that's all I need to do in order to show that like I could be on this team.
What a great way to look at that. Like, and that's like what you have to do instead of backing down and being nervous that they're going to outshine you. It's like when you said earlier that like cocky confidence in what you're good at and like knowing that, okay, I'm going to use their energy. I'm going to use what they're doing to help boost me instead of like, make it shrink me. Cause like there's room for all of the energy and all of us to shine. Wow.
Yeah.
Love that. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, definitely. Really, and going off of that, I'm just a huge believer in manifesting. And that's all I did literally the whole entire weekend. And honestly, this whole entire process is like, I am capable. I am going to be a Denver Broncos cheerleader. I want this more than anything. I am moving to Denver. I am going to reset my life, and just repeated it over and over again to me. So I think that helped a lot. It's just instilling that confidence in yourself. And you don't have to have that confidence from day one, but if you repeat it enough, you learn it and you become it. And I just remember dancing at that audition, and I had the best time. Like, I was dancing for me. I was not dancing to earn a spot at that point. Like, it had been so long since I had actually danced, and I forgot how much I personally missed that. And I was just living. I loved it. And I remember sitting in that circle when they announced the team. And I was like, if I don't hear my number, there's not a single thing I would have changed about my audition. Like, that felt amazing. And I
That's so
remember
cool.
texting my parents that before the announcement as well. And I heard my number called and I was so excited. And we don't have the opportunity to go to our phones right after, but they also post it on social media live. And then Ben was waiting outside in the parking lot just because if I didn't make the team, I would come out. If I made it, we had like a full luncheon. And so I guess he was waiting and he saw all of the people who didn't make it come out, and he never saw me come out. And so since I couldn't text, he like had known that I made it. And he texted my parents, and then he went to like a local restaurant or bar and was just sitting there passing the time. And he said he was just like sitting there with a smile on his face, and like the bartender asked him like something, and he was just like so excited and so proud of me. And then we met up afterwards, and he was telling me the same thing. And it just goes back to like that dancer boyfriend. Like, we were still boyfriend and girlfriend at this time, but he was just so proud. Like, I remember seeing the look on his face, and he was as excited about me making it as I was. And it was just overall like the best feeling. Like, I remember like the weight of the last 6 months being like lifted at that point. Like, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's like that moment of, "Oh, all of this was worth it." Like, yeah, it all paid off. It all
Definitely.
worked out how it was
Mhm.
supposed to. And I mean, I feel like you obviously knew right when you met Ben, but if you didn't know at this point, you for sure
Yeah.
knew because that's how it is. It's like your success is his success, and that's wow. I love that. I That's just such a cool I mean, that's why I feel like I resonate so much with your story too, because it's just like, wait, no, I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna make the most of my time. Like, I'm not in a good situation. I'm gonna make this for myself because I'm also such a big manifester type of person. And I think like the I am is so powerful. I am a Broncos cheerleader. Like, I am about to move to Denver because then you're like, oh yeah, I am. And it's so cool to see what the mind can do to the body. And I'm sure, I mean, I know that's like what helped push you through that audition and give you that state of happiness and confidence rather than being so nervous. Cause it is, I'm sure you were also nervous, but like that nerve wracking anxiety, it's dance is so physical and like energy based, like we talked about. So when you have that nervous, anxious, like, oh, I hope you like me. Oh, I hope I get this, like that just shows through your dancing rather than dancing from your place of joy and dance of gratitude and excitement makes such a big difference. So that's really, really inspiring. Wow. When you were on the team, you were there for 3 years. It can be brief because also just
Mhm.
go look at Michaela's stuff and you can see all the cool things she got to do. But were there any like favorite standout moments? Or actually, before we go to that, schedule wise, what did that look like while you were in season, logistically before the fun things?
Well, practices started right away in June. And the first week of June, we only practiced on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Practice always started at 6:30. 6:30 is like a harsh start. Everybody pretty much got there around 5:30 to review and prep for the practice. Most of what we practiced, we actually taught ourselves. We learned from a video or we had learned during season, and we would get sent on like Sunday or Monday, hey, this is what we're going to cover this week. Make sure you are prepared with this material for Tuesday's practice or Thursday's practice. So we would all come in knowing it. Like, you needed to know the dance like the back of your hand so they could just clean it. And if we hadn't gotten formations already, they could set the formations and then they make tweaks with groups and things like that. We would workshop the routine, but we came in knowing it. So there was a lot of outside prep for the practice. Like, practice on your own to practice
Yeah.
at practice. And our practices, again, very similar to college. We had the 6:30 start time, no set end time. And we had nights where we were there until 11, and then we had nights where we were there until like 9, 9:30, or maybe even 8. It just depended on the day, and it depended how prepared we came. And
It's
honestly,
very
if it was a game week or not.
yeah, I was gonna ask if and you probably don't know the answer to this. Do you think that was more of like a COVID switch or it was just always kind of like that in
I
at least for
think it
Denver?
was always like that for
Okay.
Denver. I think it was just a way, like even our coaches and directors did like jobs outside of Broncos. Our head choreographer owns her own dance studio. So there's a lot that they're handling at the same time too. And I think it was just a way, we are professionals, we can be held to that accountability and that standard. And I think that's part of why our audition is the way it is, with teaching yourself from a video. Like that was a part going into finals. Everybody had to learn a routine from a video to perform at finals. So
For
I think
sure.
they prepared us during the audition and really saw like who picked up on details and excelled in that area because that's how they run their practices. So I think it was set up that way for quite a while. I'm not sure when they made the switch. I know there was a director before my director, and maybe it was different then, but I don't know too much on um, the practice schedule back then.
Yeah. No, it's just interesting. I mean, that makes a lot of yeah, it does kind of connect all of the dots from your
Mhm.
audition about doing it virtually. And it almost, could have been a slight advantage that you did it virtually because they're like, wow, this girl like really can bring it from a video screen, and especially how you had said there's a lot of video and picture footage while you're performing. So it's like, oh, how does that translate? Because you have to dance bigger than if you're just in a little room with people, like you're projecting to a literal screen of like millions of
Right.
people watching you every day. That's really, really cool. What was your favorite event, favorite opportunity with them?
It's hard to pick just one. I think if I had to pick one, I would pick my trip to Mexico City. That was last November, so last year, right around this time. And for events like that, you actually say yes or no to the event. It gets put on our calendar, and you say yes if you're available and interested, no if you aren't. And then the staff picks based off of who said yes, who they think is best suited for the event, or who they think is the most deserving. And they select it based off of so many, but only 4 of us got to go. And this was one of those events where it's like, okay, it's a travel opportunity. You're there for almost a week. Like every person on the team is saying yes. And again, it was a moment where I was like manifesting it to myself in my head. I would over and over again. I was like, I would die for this opportunity. I feel like I'm so deserving. I've been working so hard at practice. Like, if you don't get it, it's fine. But like, if you want it enough and you're working hard enough, your coaches will see that and you will be rewarded. That was like something I had to tell myself over and over again.
That's
And
really
I
cool.
ended up being
Wow.
selected to go with 2 upperclassmen on the team and then one of my best friends on the team as well. So it was super fun. I got to experience that trip with her. But then when we went, we did like a school visit at a local elementary school in Mexico City, and we brought them flag football supplies and taught them flag football drills and how to play. And then we went to like that flag football championship that was out there. It's like flag toe Cheeto is what they call it out there. And we got to cheer them on and like meet all of these young kids that are just like diehard Broncos fans and inspired by the NFL flag football initiative. And it was like a super bucket filling trip. I just felt like so rewarded, and I came back feeling so grateful for what I do, and that like we're cheerleaders, but we're cheerleaders in every aspect of life, not just on the sideline. And we have the ability to inspire so many people and encourage them on like their journeys in life or the journey in sports. I think that's where some people get the disconnect of cheerleaders. Like we're just supposed to spirit and cheer on the team on the side, but there's so much more that we do for the community and the youth who inspire or dream of achieving success in their sport or success in another area of life. Being our team, also all being business women, we all have full time jobs outside of Broncos. That is part of the requirement for being on our team. We do a lot of events too where we connect with the youth or people in the community within our careers. So we're inspiring in so many more ways than just dance and cheer goes. And that was a moment where I really got to experience it. And it was just so rewarding.
It's so cool. It feels like it was such a perfect fit for you in the sense of like you already were in and successful in coaching and teaching and running a business, and then like getting to merge it all and have a little bit more of that performing joy for you again. I'm sure like the whole experience had to be such a nice, like full circle, like completion moment for you. And you also answered so many of my other questions in that explanation of you had a job outside of it, all the things. So it's like a typical where you're having another job and going to that on top of it. So you really also never got out of that go, go, go college, high
No, not at
school schedule. So shout out Ben for, because
Yes,
I know how it is
shut up.
where it's like you don't get to see each other as often
Mhm.
because you're gone at night, and he's, I'm assuming, had a little bit more typical work hours and
Yes,
having to adjust to that, but still be so supportive. So that's shout out Ben. I can't wait
yeah,
for him to hear all
definitely. Shout
this,
out.
but I'm obsessed. So you had 3 seasons with the Broncos. You recently moved back to Michigan. Just tell us a little bit about that decision and how that came to be.
Yeah, it was actually only 2 seasons. Sorry, I thought about auditioning for my 3rd, but I didn't. I didn't end up. I was planning
That's
on
fun.
being there for 3, and then it was right after the start of my 2nd season, Ben and I kind of revisited the conversation. Our lease was up, we were looking for a new place to live. We had recently just found out towards the end of my 1st season that, Ben's best friend, childhood best friend, and his wife who we went to college with, both of them, that they were expecting and they were going to have a baby the upcoming October while we were still in Denver. And that was one of those moments like finding out where like even Ben cried like happy tears, like his best friend's having a kid, starting this new life. And then that was like kind of an opportunity that we missed out on, like hearing that in person and then witnessing the delivery in person or meeting her right away. And that was something we knew we would miss out on, but I guess we didn't expect it to come so soon. And then right at the start of my 2nd season, auditions ended up being pushed back and fell the same weekend as one of our great friends' weddings. And Ben and I were actually both supposed to be standing in the wedding. And I ended up having that conversation with her, resigning from standing, getting somebody else to cover because this is my job and I do need to be at this audition and I do need to re-audition. And yes, there was the decision for me not to at this point, but I hadn't made this move and came all this way to only do it for 1 season, and I knew there was so much more that the team had to give me and that I had to offer, so I made that hard decision to step down and audition, but I did miss out on their whole wedding, which was hard, and it definitely didn't burn any relationships, but I feel like it made things a little rocky, not everybody understands what we do and that it is held to the same accountability as professional football or other professional sports players. And then my sister-in-law actually ended up getting engaged too, and she planned her wedding in 6 months
Wow.
for December of that year in Mexico, and it ended up being the same exact day as our Monday night football game. And every year we do this huge halftime light show, and that was the night that it was. And they need all hands on deck for that game. So it wasn't one that I could just miss. And I had to say no to going to my future sister in law's wedding. And I wasn't there for that, and that hurt as well. And that's one of those where, like, you wish you could just, "Hey, I'm not gonna be at practice, my sister-in-law's getting married," but you can't. It's like you either are here or you're not, and if you're not here, I mean, you might not be on the team, like, it's your choice. So, that summer, Ben and I started to realize that there were a lot of life events that we were going to continue to be missing out on, Um, we also were planning our wedding. We got engaged, I think it was 4 months after moving to Colorado. So we knew we were going to be getting married in June of 2025, and that starting a family was in the cards for us and establishing roots, and we wanted to be back around family for that. So we made the decision to move back home at the end of my second season, just really start the next chapter of our life there. And I knew it was the right decision, but again, it was one of those where, like, it was hard to walk away from. It was living my dream, and I had made amazing friends, and it was hard for me to not feel guilty for wanting what was next in life and wanting that just as badly as I wanted to stay where I was at. Like, I was living a dream, and it was hard for me to grasp why would I give up this dream that some people never even get the opportunity of doing or achieving to go do this other dream that, like, anyone could do. But to me, I also valued them both so similarly, like, so much the same, and I know this is something that we also really relate on together, and I've seen through your social media, but it came down to me just reminding myself that, like, if this is meant to be my last season, I will receive what's meant for me, and I will feel that it is ready to be done. And getting that Mexico trip was one of those signs where I was like, in my head, if I'm meant to be done, I am going to get this opportunity, and it's going to be the perfect closing opportunity for me. And I got it. And I am also a firm believer that, like, somebody else deserves this opportunity just as much. And the longer I stay and I'm also being pulled towards somewhere else, I'm taking up somebody's spot where right now this is their only dream. And I got to already experience it. So how lucky was I? Honestly, I think it was harder just going back and forth between that decision in my head while I was out there than it was actually, like, making the move. I expected it to hurt a lot more. And there's still days where, like, I get sad or I, like, wish I was there or I miss my friends or they have a great game and I'm like, "Oh, I wish I was a part of that game." But I'm so happy here, and for the first time in our lives, Savannah and I have more time together. I'm back around family. I'm rekindling friendships with the friends that have kind of taken really, like, the side door for the past few years, and now I finally, like, feel in a position where we're both ready to take that next step in our life together.
I feel like that makes it so reassuring that you made the right choice, though, like what you said about how, yeah, of course you're gonna miss it, but it's so true. Like once you like click and you make the decision, I remember for me, it felt like freeing almost. Like
Definitely.
yeah, like the anxiety of like, what do I do? And like, is this right? But I feel like you summarized it so perfectly of like someone else deserves to get to experience this. And
Mhm.
I've done what I've wanted to do here and like leaving on a note of gratitude and not being burnt out and not, feeling like you did miss out on so many more things that were going to come up and like you can leave with that happiness is a really cool thing and recognizing that it's okay to want like normal things, especially hearing your story. You've never really got to have normal. You've never got to like have, I'm going to just come home and have dinner with my husband. Like there's beauty in all of the small moments in life. So you already got to live these huge, big, amazing dream moments. So how cool that now you get to go back and like have that like small town. Like I don't even know if you're in a small town, but like
I
I don't
am
know.
in a
Michigan
small
just
town.
feels homey. Michigan is just homey everywhere. So like it's giving small town regardless. But just being able to like wrap it up in that way, and I also like the whole you'll know when there's signs and just like being able to trust and listen to your gut, which again is like the theme for you too of like, no, like I know what I want and just like trusting that gut instinct of like this is what's next for me is something that a lot of people like struggle with and not like it's hard for me. It's probably still hard for you to do, but it's cool to like be able to do that. And you're a standing testament of like listening to your gut and following your dreams and like dreams evolving, and it's okay if you're not a professional dancer forever. It's all good. That's wow. I love it. What's next for you? So you're
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I'm back in Michigan. I started another full-time job actually in sales. Luckily,
Yeah.
Ben has encouraged me to go that route. I was working in sales when I was out in Colorado. Not necessarily on the corporate side. It was for more of like a mom and pop type business. But Ben was like, you can do this. You are personable, love talking to people. I think you could be really successful here. Go for it if you want it. And I think I personally just need a little bit more stability in life and like a regular 9 to 5 schedule for me in this next chapter. So
Yeah.
dove right in. I'm really enjoying it so far. I do go in the office 3 days of the week, and then I'm like out and about at customers fourth day of the week, and then I work remote a fifth day. So it's a perfect balance where I'm not like sitting in office every day. And then I'm still choreographing and teaching on the side here and there. And then I actually started up my own business through Broncos. I became really into the social media and content creation side of things. And being a recent bride myself, I just love. And so now I wanted to extend it to more than just weddings. And I want to do events as a whole because everything deserves to be celebrated. And now I just have my own content creation business, and I'm trying to focus on growing that alongside everything else that I'm doing because I can't just pick one thing to do. I feel like that's our nature as dancers. I gotta dive into all of the passions and hobbies.
Yeah, you can't I don't think you know how to sit still probably.
No, not at
I
all.
love it. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna book you and fly you out for an event that I don't have planned, but eventually one day we'll have a big
Love
event
it.
and you can come. Great.
Let me know. I'll
Oh
be
my
on the next flight there.
I love it. Oh my gosh. We covered so much. Wow. I'm like leaving this inspired. I'm gonna go tackle the day now.
Woo.
My parting questions that we're kicking it with. So what have you been kicking it with lately? It doesn't have to be dance related or like anything, but
Yeah. Let me think about that. Let's see. Kicking it, I feel like I've really been into. So like I said earlier, every dancer kind of finds a different avenue to enjoy physical activity. I feel like once they kind of take a step away from dance.
Mhm.
And for me, like strength, like regular strength training was just not doing it. I was like, this isn't that fun anymore.
Same.
Yeah, terrible. So I have like really been into hot strength workouts, but really
Okay.
focusing on like low weights, high reps, in like in a sauna. That has been my go-to. I start every morning with like
Well,
a 30-minute workout there, listening to my like Lumineers, Noah Khan type playlist, which is totally not like the workout vibe for most people. But for me, I'm
yeah.
like, yes, this is like the perfect wake up routine. So I've really been loving that. And then sourdough. I just started my sourdough journey and I'm absolutely loving it. I have bagels prepping right now.
You need to please post about this too because I see it everywhere and it seems very intimidating, but like also could be very relaxing and
Oh
rewarding.
my gosh, it's so easy, and there's nothing like the smell of, like, fresh bread and bagels
It's like a
throughout
bakery
your
in your
house.
house. Wow. Okay, I love that. Yeah, and I think it's also like the idea of like classes for me too. Like as a dancer now, you're not like with a bunch of people. I'm like, I need a class. I want someone to just tell me what to do, and I don't have to like I don't have like a specific goal I'm like training for anymore. So it's like, let me just have fun. Cute. Okay, what are you kicking to the curb?
Yes, there are 2 things, and I feel like they've been common themes in most of my life, but overindulgence is the first, just overindulgence in everything, I feel like it's really easy for you to, like, go out to eat, and you get a plate of food, and you feel guilty if you don't finish it. Like, I don't know why that's a mental thing, but, like, I can leave it on the table. I also don't even have to take it home. But then also, like, in social media, like, I'm on it, I love to post on it, but, like, I don't need to overindulge in, like, whatever content is just there. Like, really, if I'm indulging, I to focus on things that are going to be bettering me or that inspire me or continue to push me in the direction I wanna go in life, not the stuff that just takes up the silence.
Yeah.
or fills the space. And then a
And it's like that
huge
abundance
thing.
mindset. Like you don't have to
Exactly.
it's yeah, we can like look at other things. It's gonna be there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah. And then also just like the concept of like putting down the phone, like overindulging in that is not one area that I want to be in. I love to read, still not overindulging in that. Like I could get locked away in my Kindle for hours and hours at a time. Like I have set times that I like to read it. It's just like really like valuing my time and using it to its fullest every
Yeah.
single day rather than overindulging in one area of life.
I love that. Like getting hyper focused and fixated on one thing and just like, yeah, because it gets too tunnel visiony. And then I feel like for me, I like start to spiral and it gets out of control. So just like move
Exactly.
on to the next thing. I love it. Michaela, where can people find you? Both you. I don't know if you have
Yes.
anywhere else for your new business.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a few different places. Bear with me. I am on Instagram and TikTok, Michaela.a.Marie. But then my new business is Memories by Michaela Marie on Instagram and TikTok.
And I'll put it in the show notes too. So everyone go follow her. Thank you so much for hanging with me, for kicking it with me. I just feel like your journey is so cool and so many people are going to be able to like learn and hopefully have a little bit of a mindset shift around certain things in their personal
Ditto.
dance or regular dreams. But yay, thanks you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, share. Let us know what you thought and love you guys. Can't wait to kick it with you next time. Yay.